Hi, this is Brendan O'Mahony from Broma Engineering, and today we're going to talk about scheduling and planning. Okay, so scheduling or scheduling as we say in Europe, what is it? Why do we do it? Why is it important? And then what's the difference between scheduling and planning? Planning for me is done by the SMEs, the subject matter experts. They have deep knowledge of their section of the project. And they work with the scheduler to create a Gantt chart. So activities and time durations and maybe manpower durations these days with P6. And we're creating, it's a communication tool. So we're creating a document that can be easily read. And now we'll talk a little bit about 4D as well. And that's the latest way of communicating, which is much more powerful, but we don't see it too often in the industry yet. Hopefully it'll be adopted sooner rather than later everywhere. So at Broma Engineering, we're heavily involved in scheduling and planning, mostly planning. We work with the scheduler on the project or the scheduling team to create the Gantt, as we say. So what do we do? Well, we have a brainstorming session. We start to list out the activities. So that's the first thing we need to know is what activities does the project or the team or the general contractor or the entire team need to do to achieve its goals. So we need to build a building. And always remember that's all we're here to do is to build a building. And everyone should remind themselves of that every day they're working on a construction site. And like how many activities need to be listed. For the initial, for the contract schedule, it's high level. It should be high level. It shouldn't be a mix of high detail and low detail. It should be cohesive. It should be this is the level we're at. So we have milestone dates in there, durations for CSA work, mechanical work, electrical work, but high level. It's a contractual document. It isn't what we're going to be using day to day to manage and control the project. So how do we know what activities we need? So we should bring people together into a room, do it online or in person if you can. In person's always better if it's possible. But during pre-construction, we get our brains together. We have a brainstorming session. We just start writing down activities that we need to do a certain task. Procurement, installation, delivery, inspection, receipt inspection, everything we need to do and what we've talked about in all the videos thus far. So just list them out and then don't worry about durations or anything else or manpower. Just get the activity and then sequence them properly. So what comes first, what comes second, what comes third. So we'll make it sequential. And until you've all that done, there's no point getting into how much time it's going to take. Otherwise it's just a mess. You're over and back and over and back. Once you have your activities, then you're adding time. And that's when it becomes a Gantt chart. So you have a list of activities, 1, 2, 3, 4. This might be a bit basic now for most people, but it's just to understand. Sometimes it's important to keep it basic. And then activities are linked. So can certain activities run in parallel, or does one have to be finished before you start the next? This needs to be known, and the scheduler will put that into P6 or whatever program they're using to communicate that. And then obviously the most important thing and the skill in scheduling, and this is what the difference between a scheduler and a planner, the scheduler will build a program, a Gantt, that is easy to edit. So the logic in there holds up when we change things, and they will change. So it has to be built for change. So I'll go back to my old favorite, the hub of the wheel, the LV switchgear or the main switchgear. And if we were to start this, we need to list some activities with the scheduler, with the electrical team, with the CSA team, and a couple of things you just put out there is like room ready. When is the room ready for switchgear? I know we're going straight to time there, but room ready is a milestone. It's not an activity. Okay, so what's the difference between a milestone and activity? Room ready, an activity would be painting the room, or putting up drywall, putting up studs. They're all activities. Another activity would be manufacture of switchgear, the factory witness test, transport, delivery. Delivery could be a milestone, or it could be an activity. You can put in a day for it, you can put in an hour for it, but it could be a milestone as well. Delivery, the receipt verification, receipt incoming form. It's an activity that needs to be done. And you can weight these things as well. You can put a weighting against things to make a percentage completion. So like, what are we measuring? Are we measuring percentage completion for red tag? Are we doing total completion or handover? Are we doing end of level 3, handover to commissioning? It depends. You can do it with the program in different ways. So use that information for reporting. Sometimes you might want to report, so be careful. But for us, we break it down to little pieces. We weight them, so we have a very accurate completion percentage because we're confident in what we're doing. So we want to show the client we're 80% complete, even though maybe there's no paperwork finished. Maybe the way they're measuring it is we have 0% complete. We're saying, no, actually, in reality, we're 80% complete. And here's why. Look, here's the evidence. This is done, this is done, this is done. Okay, 90% of each check sheet is done, but you're measuring that as a 0 because it's not 100%. It's kind of a binary measurement, but that's not a fair reflection of where we are. So you can use a schedule to build a case. You know, we're nearly there. We're 95% complete, 98% complete. Or else, if nothing's done, you can also report that, that's the case. If you're going in auditing a project, you want to show, this project is in trouble, senior management team, we need help. So you have activities, and then you're putting time against them. The RIF, you can put in a day against it, or you can group a few AHUs, or the LV Switchgear we're talking about now. We're setting it in place. It's another activity. We're rolling it in. We're assembling it on site. We're doing commissioning and testing. You can break that into the nitty-gritties if you want. Break it into the different tests. Talk to your vendor. What are they going to be doing? What are the electrical team going to be doing? Cable install, cable pulling. Are we doing the cable pull before the switchgear comes in? Containment, it all links together. I would do this when the room is empty. The sprinkler needs to go in ahead of it, Can you both work up there at the same time? Everyone needs to talk to each other. This is when everyone should be talking to each other, and this is why communication is so important. It's the most important thing. The schedule is a communication tool. The Gantt chart, all it is a piece of paper communicating, or on a screen, how we're going to build the building. So don't forget what it is. It's a communication tool. In order to build it, we need to do a lot of communication between each other. So everyone needs to get in. The sprinkler contractor, the design needs to be finished. So we need to know where we are. And that's why I'm very much a fan of a weekly meeting, or even more. We can do a daily meeting where we understand exactly where we all are, what help we need from other people, getting dates down. The scheduling team should be in these meetings, taking down notes, asking questions, figuring out what we're doing. The floor. Are we doing the floor before the switchgear comes in? Or are we doing it after? Are we painting the floor? Are we polishing the floor? Whatever. All these questions need to be answered. Doors, rolling routes, openings and walls, fire stopping. So, LV switchgear sounds simple, but there's so many things being affected by this one little piece of equipment in the middle of the room. And then the downstream equipment. When are we going to get it done? Are we working from the mechanical equipment up, the power distribution to the IT space or the white space? We should be working, for me, we're working from the very end, which is the white space, and then we're working from the MV, and then we're meeting in the middle in the LV switchgear. So once that LV switchgear is ready, we can turn the MV power on, get it through the transformer, into the main switchboard, down to the sub-switch boards, and into the mechanical, and down to the buzz bar or whips in the white space. So, the MSB is the main point. So a schedule should be built all around this. Because if we can't get this on and distribute power, we're stopped, basically. And this is where commissioning fails or succeeds. Okay, so we have loads and loads of activities, brainstorming sessions done in activities. We'll have to start putting time against each activity. And we can start putting this together piece by piece. There'll be bits and pieces we can stick in, we'll have forgotten, we won't have covered everything. So that, for me, the schedule should be released once a week, updated, be more detailed, or we've taken things out that we've learned. Any changes are incorporated. We send out a weekly report with that, explaining which changes have occurred and what might be coming down the line, what changes are coming up or might be coming up. So everyone has a very clear idea in plain writing of what's happening. Same with BIM or anything else. The BIM report should explain, what's changing, what's coming down the line, and everyone should be able to read these reports every week. A project without good reporting it's not a good project, in my opinion, because we need to be able to pick it up, and wherever the CDE I should be able to go in there and figure out what's happening with schedule, commercial. I know commercial might be a bit sensitive, but certain things should be available to everyone. Commissioning, quality, we should all know what's happening all the time. So a weekly report, I think, is enough, and a week goes by very fast on a project. So we're putting time against each one. So we're talking to our vendors, we're talking to our electrical contractors. What I've seen in the past is that the general contractor come in and then they sub scheduling into the into the subcontractors. This never works. So just don't do it. Just doesn't work. You're trying to buy and sell risk. It's fine. Look, I understand the reason you do this commercially, strategically, but it just doesn't get a building built. For us, for me, you give someone a schedule. They all work together, and we all say, "Well, that's the schedule now." And it's not a debate. This is not a diplomatic situation. The general contractor dictates the schedule, and that's what we're working to achieve the dates. And if you can't make that schedule, then don't bid for it. That's simple enough. You're not coming here to build it. So then, if there's a timeline, if there's a certain amount of time, you're going to need more people. But there is a saturation point, especially in electrical install, where you can't put more people into a switch room because it's just too small, and you can only work in one cabinet at a time. So that's a very low saturation point. So more people will not help when it comes to electrical install. Testing cables as well, you can only fit one person at each end of the cable. That's it. So your saturation point there is 2 people. More people will not help. But you have to assess that yourself. How many cabinets have you access to? How many cables are pulled? How many cables are terminated, landed? So that all needs to be balanced out with a SME and the scheduler to get a realistic picture. And some people around the place who are not good at this might think that more people will help. It won't. It'll make it worse, because if you have more people and more mutes inside that room, now it's just going to be slower. So it's totally counterintuitive, but that's just the way it is. People need to understand this in order to build a data center efficiently. Of course, having skilled people will speed things up as well. That's a factor. So if you have a really good test team, they know exactly what they're doing. They have calibrated equipment. They have the tools they need at hand. They have a proper schedule. There's a priority list. It's going to go much, much better than if you don't have all that stuff. So this comes into the planning as well. That mightn't be reflected in the schedule, but it should to the best of your ability. So it should get pretty nitty-gritty, the schedule. It should have each panel, not during pre-construction, but as we go on, as we iterate the schedule over and over again, every week it should be better, more detailed, more understandable, and we should be communicating that to the team every day. We should be saying, are we on schedule today? Let's have a look. And the projects controls or the scheduler should be in the daily meeting running through, we achieve this, we achieve this, we achieve this is what's happening today, and we should be on that Gantt and working to it every day in a perfect world. We have been on our previous few projects and it's worked really, really well. Everyone walks out of that meeting in the morning perfectly aligned, and it's a thing of beauty really when you're working to the schedule every day and just keeping on top of it. Okay, I'm being told here to wrap it up, so I can't remember why I drew this arrow, but anyway, it was probably for something. But that's about it on scheduling versus planning. Schedulers, don't be offended. For me, I don't expect a scheduler to be a planner. A planner is a SME, electrical expert, a mechanical expert, a ductwork expert, a controls expert, a CSA expert, and they help the scheduler build a good schedule. The scheduler is more putting together the bits and pieces to create this amazing document for everyone to work to. And every day it should be center stage, every day, and every day it should be updated. And if we do this, I think you'll have a much better project than if you didn't. If you have any questions on this, please put something in the comments or get in contact with us. We're always here to help with data center planning. We can review schedules if needed or redline them and send them back. So keep us in mind if you have a project ongoing. We have some demonstration projects plans as well. So thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and see you next time.